Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. All right, so trigger warning. The subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. And disclaimer, all cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. So I'll be looking at the missing case of Amanda. And she unfortunately went missing on between the evening of February the 27th and February the 28th in the California region. So the context is she got lost somewhere in kind of a desert area, got stuck in a ditch, called the police for help. The outcome is the police went to the wrong coordinates. The police then went to the wrong coordinates, and by the time they went to the correct location, her car was found abandoned. There was visible damage to the vehicle, and of course, Amanda has been missing since. And now, what's startling, let's just say that first, is the communication blunder between Amanda and the police, and the reporting of the coordinates to then police on the ground. For some reason, they went to the wrong location. Now, that is pretty evident in that blue arrow that I've got there, the 2911-2, in the day. There's breaking communication, 11-2 with the 8. 11-2, uncertainty, 50-50, is it going to work or not? Intermittent. Did you say this? Did you say that? With the 8 communication. But unfortunately, I do believe that breaking communication had a significant role in the disappearance or the outcome as we know it currently, unfortunately. And I'll show where I see that. And for a few times now, I'm still getting the same impression that the coordinates that were said over the communication system were, according to some of the people, were actually correct, but the police actually ended up going to the wrong coordinates. But the impression that I'm getting, and we see started reflecting there on February the 28th, that 28-10-1 is about communication, right? Between organizations, 10-1, to a group of people, all the cops on the ground. But that also gives me I'm getting a sensation of someone heard the coordinates on the radio system. I'm sure it's not a long stretch of the imagination that someone will be listening to police comms, right? And they hear, however it was announced over the radio, someone is lost in the desert, female in the desert. And I keep getting, and it's like the third time now, the communication on that day and the outcome as we know it had a particular role in this crime. And I keep getting the feeling that someone heard the comms and may have then gone to this location before the police did. But in the physical, you'd think, well, why would someone risk doing something? But I can definitely say the communications on that day played a significant role, or played a negative role in trying to rescue and find Amanda. And the uncertainty and the communication continues the following day, February the 28th. That 3811-2 is bothering me. And I put it in a block there. Because for me, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but to me, it's like there's an escalation of communication. So the circle got wider, if you like. And what is concerning me is the 10s and the 20s. You know, in cases like this, you don't want to see those numbers, but I was also double checking if there was any kind of human trafficking organization involved here. Now, I try to get some kind of idea of who the perpetrators were. I picked up a truck, headlights on, so that would give an indication of time of day. I get 2 Hispanic, and one of them had a noticeable standout silver belt buckle. I know it's a little bit vague. Hopefully we can get a bit more information on that. And to be fair, I've been asking, because when I looked at this the very first time, which was approximately, I would say maybe 2 days ago, and I'm recording this on the March 24. And I did get the sound of a shovel in sand, unfortunately, which is not kind of a sound you want to associate with a young lady missing in the desert. And I then asked myself, well, if I'm giving this immediate information, because the first thing I ever heard when looking at this case was the shovel in the sand. But I believe there needs to be comment made about the communication situation on that day, 29/11/2 plus the 8th, where the arrow is where the communication blunder happened, and that's where the communication blunder took place on that 29/11/2, and had a significant role in Amanda's disappearance or ultimate disappearance. Because had whatever the reason was that the police went to the wrong coordinates for whatever reason, of course, Amanda then was having to have more time on her own out there in trouble. And of course, by the time the police actually found the car, which was like a week later, I mean, can you just imagine phoning 911? You give them your exact coordinates and they find you almost 10 days later. How long can you hold your breath for? So there was definitely communication failure. Now I'm going to compare the day of the incident, which is where the 911 call is made later in the day, and then when the car was found, and we note the day after the car was found, we start seeing the matching of sequences. Now, what bothers me about March the 7th as well is that we have that 7 on the start of that day, and we do have a 7 reflected in the day of the situation, 3/7/37, 7. And I mentioned this in previous videos. I get nervous. It gives me the chills to see a 7 on the scene, and I'll tell you why. It's because in most cases it points, there's a very strong possibility that there's law enforcement around. Not in terms of apprehending a suspect. There's a law enforcement person potentially involved here. And I'm trying to see if I can discount that. prove otherwise, that it wasn't law enforcement, but it does give me concern. And this is why I say the communications that went out that day, I'm getting a sense someone heard the coordinates and went there, while everyone else was running wild somewhere else. Someone went to the exact coordinates where Amanda was. That's the feeling I'm getting. And unfortunately, with that 1910-1 on the scene as well, not a good ending. And 2 days later, we see the massive 8s. When the car is found the day after, massive 8s. Not good, not good. That in this case leads to that communication error. And if you haven't seen the Kate Middleton shows, lots of communication blunders from the royal family. So, in my opinion here, and it's almost obvious to say, but it's reflected in front of these numbers, that the communication blunder between Amanda, whoever took the call, and whoever distributed the information contributed to her untimely passing, let's say, I believe. Now, in a numbers point of view, I can see where the passing is. It's reflected on February the 29th. Now, I believe it would have happened overnight, 27 to 28 in that zone. But I'm getting information reflected on February the 29th. And in particular, the 31-4. It's almost like the destruction of anatomy, death, ending. 13-4 also. And that's just a reflection of what would have taken place, I believe, during the nights of 27 and 28 February. And had the police driven exactly to her coordinates, they would have found her alive. That's my opinion. Now, in terms of justice and getting the perpetrators, I'm not getting a good vibe about that either. It's almost a random situation as well, because someone can hear the comms over the radio and just decide to go there on a whim. No connection to Amanda whatsoever. I'm just trying to see if we'll pick up any other kind of evidence. And I'm also just keeping the car in mind as well, because that car did get beat up a bit. Oh yes, I've been reminded, I believe Amanda did put up a fair struggle, and that I received through spirit. I believe she put up a fair fight. I do believe she put up a fair fight. All right, so I don't believe I'm picking up anything else at the moment. I did write at the bottom here, someone heard the comms on the radio of her coordinates, confirmed in both sequences. So there's two things that have happened here. Communication failure, guaranteed. Guaranteed. But I would say also by chance, someone heard this information over the comms, ironically. And it was a crime of opportunity. And that's why that 7 bothers me. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, there's even 11 twos around that talks about law enforcement, enforcing the law, creating law. 11 twos also a law number, the law. All right, so I don't think I'm going to get anything else. But I think, because what I asked in spirit was, the important factor here is, and this is for obviously Amanda's family who must be in terrible pain, that there's certainly a case here to be held, because had the comms been met in time or get to her in time, I don't believe we'd be talking about a case about Amanda. And the numbers are reflecting chaos. It's just it gets worse. And I believe that's probably that's the answer for me. Is that we literally go 28-10-1 on the February the 28th, 28-10-1 escalates to a 38-11-2. I just think the bungling of the case just got worse, and that this wasn't dealt with properly. I mean, even just thinking about it now, the 911 call that we hear Amanda and the operator, he's a little bit blasé for my liking. It's like he has the attitude, how can you get yourself lost? So I believe there's certainly a case to be held there. Really unfortunate situation. Let's hope the digging in the sand is not what we think and could be something else, but we always hold out hope. All right, so yeah, please leave your comments. I always engage with your comments. And if I hear any news or if I get pinged on again, I will relook at it, but I'm not getting any other information at the moment. Except that Amanda did put up a good fight, I believe. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and stay alert.